Radical happiness is the subversive act of choosing happiness and joy in life in the face of challenges and oppression. Whatever that means to you in your culture, in your personal life, it's choosing to not allow oppression to ruin your life because that's its intention. So it's not toxic positivity, it's not a facade, it's a enjoyment and a delight. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington, and I was sick all the time because of lung issues. I always drew and always knew I wanted to be an artist, and so that definitely was encouraged. I was given supplies and told, do whatever you want. I've always used art and made art my whole life. Recently, my daughter was reading a book about cowboys in the Southwest. The author said, what defines a cowboy isn't the clothes, it's doing the work. I said, that's the same as an artist. Anyone could say, like, I love art, my life is art, but if you're not doing the work, then you're not really an artist. If someone out there feels that they can't make art and they're not creative, they probably aren't. And that they should find joy and support artists that are doing it because we're doing it from a place of sickness and toil. And yeah, and if you fancy yourself an artist, then do the work. Don't just wear the cowboy hat and cowboy boots, like buck a bronco.
I met Lex because our kids were going to the same school, and I was new here and I didn't know any of the other parents, and I saw this person across the courtyard and I thought, I need to be friends with that person. And I fell in love with Lex as a person and an artist very quickly. I'm a storyteller and I feel like each painting of Lex's tells a story.
Okay, colors. I like pink. I like neon colors. My favorite color is toothpaste. I like a minty feel. Usually I just work from memory. Flowers are just a circle with some more shapes sticking to it. So for me, it's like, I just want to get lost in that. I start with a bit of inspiration and then I quickly let that go. When I'm making decisions and making choices in the moment, I just tell myself I can do whatever I want. And doing whatever I want is what keeps me moving forward on a piece.
One of the things that really stands out to me about Lex's work is this profusion that happens, this sort of abundance of flowers, of forms, of natural materials, floridness. They're so happy and effusive. They really convey such a beautiful energy. Because we love looking at flowers. We're humans, we're animals. So I think she really taps into some things that are pretty primordial in that sense. But also it's because I think of the energy that she puts into the work when she's making it.
I'm a self-taught artist. I draw more inspiration from the lives of other artists than I do the work of other artists. Like, I like to read about how they lived and feel some sort of validation for the struggle of, like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing? And when I'm working, I really feel like people talk about blind faith. That's how I feel about the idea of creating and making art. This is truly an act of blind faith. I don't know why I'm doing this. It has no function. It's good for nothing. And I don't even want to sell it. Like, I want to hoard it. It's not part of the capitalist system. My way of funneling the experience of being alive.
When I look at Lex's paintings, what I feel first is a sense of whimsy. They're bright and they're colorful and they draw you in because they're so adorably pretty. And the second thing I love about Lex's paintings when I'm looking at her work is that they tell a story, each one. Each one tells a story of travel and transformation and beauty and the transformative power of color. If you look at her work, the colors enrapture you. I have a lot of Lex's paintings in my house because I like waking up and looking at a field of beautiful flowers where not every flower is the same. They're all individual and distinct. And I feel like each painting is a map to a different emotion. And for me, art is something that I like to feel deeply, and her work makes me feel that way. Like I could sit and sink into one of her paintings for days.
When the pandemic started, I started a series of like small landscapes on panel, and I would have to say the first one that I painted. And I said, oh, I'm just gonna paint this for myself. Oh, it's the pandemic, you should be making work that's like, like the essence of death. And I just went, oh, I'm creating something heavenly and otherworldly and joyful, and I might be sick because of that. For me, making art is a very humanist thing. Like I want thumbprints, I'm thinking about the ancients and the cave people, and I'm the vessel for that tradition. Radical happiness is the philosophy. It's also kind of a form of vengeance. You have to practice it. It's something that you have to build like a muscle. So if you're listening to this and saying, okay, that's a choice I'm gonna make, I would start small, and I would start in nature and finding small sprouts between the pieces of cement, and how things feel, subtle feelings of the air and the sun, and just being quiet, and then laughter, making fun of all those things.